Chris Archer threw at Jose Bautista today in the Rays 3-1 loss to the Blue Jays. Chris Archer said, hey, it wasn't me. I didn't do it on purpose. But John Gibbons doesn't think that's the case. Take a listen.
My issue with it all, I would expect there would be got to be some kind of suspension. I mean, if the way they handle things now, I saw the Machado thing the other day. The ball was thrown behind him. Now, if the umpire had not issued a warning, okay, maybe he didn't think something was wrong. Since he issued a warning, maybe he was, maybe something's not right here, so he issued a warning. So if the umpire thinks somebody issued a warning for a reason, maybe he thought there was some intent, maybe there was some intent, and that's why I would imagine the league would step up like they do most of the time. So I'd be disappointed if they didn't.
John Gibbons clearly thinks Archer should be suspended. Scott, is that an overreaction, or do you think there's some legitimacy to Gibbons' thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's always needs to be intent. Visually, Abby, when you're thrown behind, that's bigger than if you're thrown in the leg and it makes contact. This could have been protecting his teammate, as Steven Souza was hit in the 7th inning of Saturday's game. And so there is something there. I mean, Chris Archer is one of the most upstanding people in all of baseball, but he's also a pitcher where the rules, the unofficial rules, the unspoken rules say you should try and protect your teammate, an eye for an eye. Saturday's game, it's the absolute next day, and Bautista's sort of the voice of the Blue Jays. Mm-hmm. This is one of those where you can say he said, where you heard Archer denied it. Gibbons is really expressing the need for a suspension. It's pretty high school, if you ask me.
You think Chris Archer did it on purpose?
No. Yeah, I think so. I think there was some type of retaliation or retribution because of Sousa getting plunked in Saturday's game. So whether or not that's a suspension, you suspend a pitcher for 5 days so he misses a start, that's a pretty big deal. I wouldn't do that. I mean, fines really aren't where they go here, but Chris Archer doesn't really have a history of being a troublemaker on the mound either. I really think that he does not get suspended here.
Okay, do you think there's any course of action to take if this was on purpose?
No, I think baseball is one of those sports because of its long tradition that he's probably going to get a pass. Now, I think if you were the type of pitcher who's had this as a reputation, maybe so. I'm curious to see what they do because this is not one of those where it's an absolute black or white. Yes, he deserves a 5-game suspension. No, let's just move on. This is a part of the game. I just think because of his rep, I don't think he gets suspended.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Scott. Just thinking if this was not a first-time offender, if maybe you do take action because obviously you got to fix something. If this keeps happening, then you take the.
Well, particularly if it's Toronto and the Rays, or if it's Archer and Bautista. Mm-hmm. The tricky thing is a lot of the times they are the middleman, the pitcher, in these cases. They weren't involved in Saturday's interaction in that 7th inning.
Yeah.
They are just so happen to be the starter in the following game, and they have to throw at the guy. I mean, Chris Archer's their best pitcher, in my opinion, talent-wise. Maybe not in terms of production the last 18 months, but sometimes that's just the way baseball is.